Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a great week. So we're back today. It's E3 week, as you guys know. I'm sure you're all aware of this. We're going to be doing a couple of podcast videos for you guys, basically giving our overall thoughts and opinions on E3. But today is all about Nintendo. So obviously Nintendo Direct aired today at 5 p.m. We all watched it live together. It was really, really fun. Go check out that video if you haven't already done so. But we're here today to give our thoughts and opinions on it. We're going to kick off by just introducing everybody, and then we'll get straight into the nitty gritty. So Dante, do you want to start first?
That's spoilers. I am Dante. I am from N7 Kate's channel. You may know me from that channel. Moving on.
Yes, he's done many videos on there. You should definitely check out his stuff. It's usually really fun. Okay, Fish.
I'm Fish from Crack On Gaming. Primarily a Nintendo fanboy, though I do branch out into other games. Very slowly learning to love other companies, but Nintendo always has a special place in my heart. So prepare for opinions on this E3.
Opinions is what we want. We welcome opinions here on this channel. Opinionated, yeah. And finishing off is Edge.
Hello, this is Edge from Edge Grave or Edge from Edge Plays. If you know me from previous works, I've done a lot of horror games recently and Monster Hunter videos, the 2 blokes and a Kate or 3 blokes and a Kate. Yeah, it should be quite interesting to see our thoughts for this E3 this time.
I'm very much looking forward to this, actually. So obviously we've just finished watching it literally about an hour ago. I made some notes down and things that we're interested in, but I thought what we could kick off doing is just generally talking about what we thought overall of the Direct, the 40-minute Direct. Then as we're going through, we can pick out some of the games we're hyped for, maybe just start talking about them, and then obviously we'll finish it with stuff that we didn't see and kind of go from there. So I really enjoyed the Nintendo Direct. I actually really enjoyed it. I would say at the moment it's up there with one of the best sort of streams that we've had in E3 overall. I thought Nintendo, the content that they had they only did 40. If you compare it to Capcom last night, they had 30 minutes and showed jack all. Right? Nintendo crammed a lot of really good stuff in that 40-minute segment. We had some surprises that I didn't know about, I didn't see coming, which was really cool. I got the thing I wanted, which was to see a little bit more in Breath of the Wild. I didn't give a crap about anything else. I'm like, I just want to see Breath of the Wild. That is all I want to see. I tell you what, Aonuma was teasing me the entire time. They dragged that out until the very last second.
It's always going to be the very last thing.
Very last second, but we got to see it, which is really awesome. So yeah, there was more games in this that I'm interested in and I want to pick up and definitely check out. But I thought it was good, and I think Nintendo always do a good mix between gameplay and cinematic. Their trailers and they always seem to mesh it and mix it really well, and that's one of the things that I think the other development publishers get wrong. Like Microsoft had too many cinematics for me.
I've been watching a couple of E3 presentations over the last 2 days, and I just get so sick of seeing okay, this is a cinematic trailer.
It doesn't tell me
what
anything
about the game?
How does it look? How does it play?
You're telling me nothing.
So I think Nintendo's really good with that, and I thought they did a good job. We got to see like actual gameplay for pretty much most of these games. Even for Breath of the Wild 2, we got gameplay snippets. We got to see segments of gameplay. So I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it, for sure. Should we work around? So we'll go down to Fish.
So the Nintendo one, for as far as I'm concerned, you're right. A lot of surprises, things I wasn't expecting, things that caught my interest. I was surprised we didn't get anything about Splatoon 3, but I was expecting a little bit more on that. I look forward to the days when the three, Edge, if you want to join us next time, the 4 of us can start some more Splatfests, because that was always a good day.
Can't wait for that.
But surprised that didn't make an appearance. The other 2 big surprises for me, I was not expecting Metroid 5. I was hoping for Metroid Prime 4, but Metroid Metroid Prime, Metroid 5, I will absolutely take.
Was that the Metroid Dread?
Yeah, Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
That right? 'Cause
Yeah.
is that like a continuation then of the
Oh,
Metroid
yeah.
series? Because
The original
Oh, yeah.
series.
and it's by the same It's by Mercury Steam, right? And that's the same guys that did Samus Returns,
Yes.
which was a remake of 2.
Yeah. So this
Right,
ticks
which
the-
was really
this,
good.
This ticks a box I have been waiting for years,
Mm-hmm.
because the first time I ever saw anything by Mercury Steam was their Castlevania on the DS, Shattered Mirror, and as I loved it. It's a brilliant Castlevania game, but the only thing going through my mind the entire time I was playing it was going, "This is really good. I'd love it if these guys could do a new Metroid game." And then they announced like a couple of weeks later, going, "Hey, this studio is doing Metroid Samus Returns," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. It's a Metroid game. I love to see what they do with it." It was great, but
it's
it
a
was
remake.
a remake of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy.
Do you think
So-
Samus Returns was a test for them to see if they were capable of doing their own Metroid game?
Without question. I was disappointed that it wasn't a brand new one, but clearly I have now finally, after all this time, got my wish and got a Metroid game by that studio.
Cool.
The other big surprise, because there's lots in that presentation I could go on for, but it's the one which I'm most hyped about of all E3, and it only came about specifically because only yesterday was I saying to people, Nintendo are just going to let this franchise die in favor of something else. And frankly, the last franchise, I know you and I are against this, but Fire Emblem Three Houses just bored the tits off me.
I loved Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Shots
Loved
fired.
it.
I spent so much time playing Three Houses going, why am I spending so much damn time in this school building relationships when I should be on a battlefield? I want to be fighting things. I want to be commanding units in war. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that Fire Emblem builds its characters up by having them die and building relationships between them. But Three Houses was just too much. I was like, just put me in a battle. I'm sick of being in this damn school. So when that beautiful Advance Wars music struck up, oh my god, I just
It's like
couldn't.
Orange Star Army. I was like, what? Orange
I
Star?
know Dante will feel exactly the same as me. They had signed this franchise to the back shelf for the rest of eternity because the guy who's in charge of intelligent systems at the moment really has been pandering the Fire Emblem franchise towards the weebs, the ones who want a dating sim and nothing more. And you can see the franchise edging closer and closer that way because he believes, and he's quite right, he believes that you are less emotionally invested in a game like that when the characters have no connection, when they are a blank slate. But for me, Advance Wars is tactical beauty at its best. I like the fact that you have an army. Yeah, you've got a commanding officer. And it was such a shame for me that the last Advance Wars game ended on such a down note. The last proper one we had was Dark Conflict on the DS. They took it in a direction which I don't think anybody really enjoyed. It went from that beautiful, cartoony, lively, tactical-based thing to the same tactic-based, but it was gritty and realistic and, apocalyptic war. And it's like, nah, this has got too much angst. I'm not wanting to play Evangelion. Just, I want the lightheartedness of this. And to see that...
So is it a remake then?
It's
Or
a remake
remaster?
of Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Right, it's a
it's all-
remaster kind of thing.
Well, they're calling it a reboot, as in reboot camp.
Right,
But
okay.
it looks like it's a shinied up, rebuilt up version of 1 and 2.
Cool.
From the Game Boy Advance.
Advanced era, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Advance Wars as a franchise was going in Japan for years, simply from the days of the Famicom. It was always known as Famicom Wars. It never came out over here till it hit the Game Boy Advance, and we got Advance Wars. And just the franchise has just been in my key list of top games for years. So to see that game finally come back, I can only hope that this gives it, with its reboot camp, the opportunity for them to resurrect this franchise.
For a new generation.
Yeah.
I urge everyone who watches this video, if you have never played Advance Wars, get a Switch, get this game. It's just brilliant. I can't sing its praises enough.
And
the
you
characters
can
are great.
do multiplayer, right? With
You can do-
versus
You
against
can
each
do
other.
multiplayer. You can. I mean,
Versus co-op.
assuming they do
Okay.
exactly what they had on the Game Boy, you can make your own battle maps. You can
That's
have
cool.
a 4-player game, and you can split that into teams. So you can have 3 people against 1 person.
I'm
2v2.
seeing potential for live stream madness here.
Oh yeah.
You say
Okay.
live stream. You set
Or just
yourself
gaming
in because
madness multiplayer.
set yourself in because if it's a live stream, be prepared to play a game that could last up to 2 hours with talented players.
That's fine. I'm game for that. That sounds really, really cool. That's
The
cool.
ultimate one.
Well, as soon as it came on, because I know Advance Wars is like a huge thing for you and Dante, and so as soon as it came on, I looked straight at the chat, and I'm like, they're going to be freaking out. Yes, they're freaking out.
They're going.
Awesome. They're absolutely freaking out on Twitch. So I was excited for you guys, which is awesome.
You can go between houses as well. We will at some point. You'll have to come round. Dante and I will educate you. With Advance Wars 1, we'll keep it simple, and we'll play some on the GameCube through the Game Boy player on the TV. We'll just
Okay.
have a pass the controller around.
You'll have to teach me.
We'll get you prepared for Advance Wars.
With the
Sweet.
big pixels.
Sweetness.
Big pixels.
So what about you, Dante, then? Like, out of the, what did you think of the presentation? What did you think of the games? What particularly excited you?
I say a lot. Of course, that got me hyped, even though technically it's like a remaster reboot of old games. But Breath of the Wild obviously really
So beautiful.
instantly got me in there. I was
So
like,
gorgeous.
there's so much to break down in just that little trailer.
Mm.
Or like, looks like they've got a new way of doing the powers and all this and that. There's lots of little callbacks to Skyward Sword, the Zonai armor looking stuff as well from the first game, and you're like, what? And I'm sure there's some Twilight stuff going off there, and that whole reverse music. It looked like they're bringing
When
in
they were
bits
doing the
of...
teleporting thing between the
Yeah.
rock kind of thing.
It's like, dude can like...
Yeah,
more-
I'm getting feelings that this is going to be an amalgamation of bits of Zelda
yeah.
all over.
That would be cool. Maybe something's going. Maybe they'll make it where all the different Zelda timelines or universes are like overlapping and something's going on. Maybe that would be kind of funky. But it did look like with the gauntlet, like he was using Sheikah abilities with his hand.
Yeah, with the kind of bracelet type thing. It looked like at one point he was spewing flames out, and then the other time he like did the stasis freeze.
So the arm that the crazy Shadowness grabbed him on. So I'm suspecting, are we going to get some kind of Princess Mononoke cursed arm levels of nonsense here?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it spreads up as you progress through the story or something.
Yeah, and has to unlock skills and magic with it or something like that.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm all for flamethrower.
But yeah, there were floating islands in the sky you can go up to now. You've still got the standard Hyrule map from the first game, but it looks like there's just more to it.
Yeah.
Some new enemies have beefed up, like that big Talos statue, but it had like all the boblins on it. That was funny. Yeah, so a lot of it. I'm gonna be. I follow a few Zelda theorists and stuff on YouTube, so I'll be watching their videos
I have to
afterwards.
watch those with you because I kind of like those breakdown videos where they sort of go into the depth of it. The only thing I will say is obviously we saw the scene where Zelda was falling, and the only thing I don't want to happen, what they do with most Zelda games, where it's Zelda disappears at the beginning and we don't see her until right at the end of the game. I don't want that. What I kind of want to happen, and somebody mentioned this in my chat, was it would be super cool if you could actually play as both Link and Zelda. So it'd be really cool if they get split up and you jump between them at different points in the story. And Zelda's unlocked her abilities here at the end of Breath of the Wild, and she may well have the Sheikah Slate. Maybe, I don't know. So I kind of want that, sort of like what they did with Ciri and Geralt in The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
like I kind of want
just ever
that.
so often see what they're doing.
Yeah, I kind of want that. I think that would be really awesome. I don't know if we're going to get that. We might not. It might be asking too much. But given the fact that we've just played Age of Calamity and just how awesome she is in Age of Calamity, it was very
Yeah.
cool to be able to sort of use her abilities and things. So I would kind of want that. And she's super smart, really clever, really smart. It's really awesome to have a Zelda that I respect. I know it sounds harsh.
Not one that's just asleep
I know,
somewhere, yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, I actually like this
Clearly
Zelda.
you've
She's
not-
got. I haven't
you've
played
not
enough.
Ocarina of Time.
I
then.
haven't. I haven't
yeah.
finished it, so I don't know what
Yeah.
Zelda's like in that.
Ocarina of Time is without doubt the most badass Zelda.
Oh, well, of course, because she's chic,
Spoilers.
right?
Spoilers!
Whatever.
Spoiler alert!
Please, like people don't know
Bleep,
that already.
Bleep that out.
Spoiler
bleep that
alert,
out.
that's fine. But yeah, so I want to see it definitely in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, that was definitely one of them. Was there anything else that you were super excited for, or was that the main one?
Well, we mentioned before the Mario and Rabbids game that technically crossed over into this
Yeah.
direct as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, the first one was
A shiny
Beautiful.
So
gem
good.
that just was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
expected.
Yeah,
and-
it didn't get
and
as
even
much
the
love as it deserved.
and the DLC that came out after it as well has kind of started pushing towards what they've done with the revamped system for this sequel that's coming out. Where you're able to like more mad movement and being able to grab enemies and other items and stuff on what during your turn. They've got rid of the grid-based system and made it just a big like you can move freely this far out.
Which is cool.
And yeah, it looks very interesting, and it's just gonna be taking the mick out of itself constantly. It's obviously aimed at
hyped-
Galaxy.
I'm hyped for Rosalina.
The
And
Rosalina
again,
Rabbit.
It's
Brilliant.
got to be good because it is using Nintendo's signature characters, Mario, from the Mario
Yeah.
franchise. Nintendo would not let that thing out if it was not.
Have you
Especially if
played
it's not
the
developed
first
by
one?
them.
Have you played the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Nintendo would not let that thing out the door if it wasn't anything other than
fair.
high
It's
class.
fair.
So it
And
can
canon.
only be a good game.
So what about you then, Edge? What did you think of the stream, and was there anything that you were particularly excited for or looking forward to? I don't know what that look means. I'm a bit nervous. Go on.
So, I liked the variety of games that that Nintendo announced. I think first thing off the bat, if you didn't like some of the games, I think it was great that you had a wide variety of different genres, different types of game for the Switch. As I said, like there's some for everybody. That was the entire message they were sending out there. My concern a little bit is that there's a lot of remasters, a lot of re-releases of previous games. So like that Fatal Frame, that Fatal Photograph game that was out previously on older console generations.
Yeah.
Did we get that
Um,
over here? I thought that
We
was.
did on GameCube, I think, was it?
Not
Or
Fatal
Dreamcast.
Frame. I don't think. I mean, there's been several Fatal Frame games in the franchise.
It is,
I
it
don't
is a
think-
re-release of one of the older
Hmm.
ones.
But
You've-
just to cut you off on that point, though, Edge, I think the thing we really have to highlight with this year's E3, and it applies not just to Nintendo but to everyone else, given the year that we have come out with globally, I think with some of the things that we are getting, remasters is one of the best things we could hope for. It's something that is easy to do, and at the same time, something a lot of people want. So with the restricted hours that people have had to work and the difficult working circumstances, I think certainly Nintendo seem to have really pulled it out of the bag with what people want.
It's not my comment about that isn't about in terms of the current climate or anything like that, because obviously
Well, the other.
I think
other
the
platforms are
expectation
doing
was
too.
in terms of the whole E3, I think the expectations have been a little bit higher due to the fact that it was during COVID. It's been
Yeah.
a lot of expectation of some new stuff coming out. But for me, it was like, well, no. I mean, they've already announced in the Capcom one and a while back the Monster Hunter Stories 2. Great that they mentioned about WarioWare. Great that they mentioned about the golf again. But I'll go over the positives. Positives, really good variety of games. Starting off with a Smash character reveal of Tekken Kazuya, really, really good. I thought it was fine, really funny. If they didn't have a Smash reveal, they probably would have had some comments like, "Oh,
It's like tradition now, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
tradition with E3. You always start off with a Smash character. So if they hadn't
think-
done it, I think there would have been uproar. I think Twitter would have
Well,
gone
yeah.
insane.
And we once again see his absolute adoration for Kirby, as Kirby's the only one who survives.
Kirby's his boy.
And then, like with the WarioWare, with Advance Wars, and things like that. Really, really good sort of reveal. The comments I have about in terms of the remasters are things like the Mario Party and like the Dragon Ball Kakarot. Like, yeah, no, it's great that they're being put on there, and I'm glad as well that they did very short segments of that. So like before, like with Capcom, where they were announcing like a lot of this whole on thing about their game, I learned more about the game from the small segment of Nintendo's Direct, in terms of the visuals and what to expect from it,
Yeah.
than I did in the Capcom one. So in terms of the Nintendo's performance, no, it's bang on. It was all right. You're gonna hate me, and I'm saying this in the most nicest possible way. I was not impressed with the Zelda trailer.
Okay, interesting. Go on. Why?
So
I'm intrigued. Go on.
okay, I learned more about the pretense of the game from the original trailer 2 years ago than the If you showed me a trailer of Breath of the Wild and a trailer of Breath of the Wild 2, I wouldn't know much difference in terms of what's new. Yes, I'm aware that you're obviously flying into the sky. That I'm calling it now that there's probably going to be some connection between Skyward Sword and this, because they're pushing it so much. But in terms of, you know, the story, or in terms of anything new that we've seen from the original thing 2 years ago, there's nothing too new. That's not a complaint. That's more like, okay, it's great that you've acknowledged that people will know more about the game, but it hasn't told me much more in terms of what to expect. That, again, that might sound like I'm coming off very negative on the Zelda thing, but there's excitement of, oh yeah, a new Zelda's coming out. But again, they haven't really revealed too much new.
I think
That
it's
makes sense.
I think it's difficult with the trailer because it's a sequel, right? You don't want to. Part of it is what the hell, what the bleep is going on. So part of it, if you've played the original Breath of the Wild, is what the frig? Like, we defeated Ganon. That clearly isn't Ganon. And I think they're trying to balance it between not having too much spoiler of it's set 2 years later and blah. You know,
No, not
they
even
want to
that.
keep
Like,
that mystery. But
like, I would be intrigued. Like, the best example I can give is like when Mario Galaxy came out and did the second trailer, and you saw a gameplay mechanic, and it didn't reveal too much about anything in terms of what else you were doing. Like, I know they're holding all the cards to their chest, because at the moment the game is going to come out apparently next year. Now, I like the fact, I'm amused by the fact they said next year, because that doesn't tell us any time. That could be Christmas of next year. That could be delayed until spring of 2023.
which I think
Where
is
it's like
likely.
it's been 2 years since they first announced it, and then again, this is not a complaint. This is more an observation. It's just that after 2 years of this, that's what I'm trying to be. The way I'm trying to say it is, I'm more kind of, like, I'm like, okay, no, it was fine that you showed us it, but like the hype train isn't there for me, because it's like,
Have you played
great
the
that you
first game?
yeah,
You finished it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So you've actually completed the first Breath of the Wild. Okay.
I think actually on this point I would echo Edge's, for somebody who's as big a Legend of Zelda fan as I am. I'm cautious about this on the pure basis of there are very few. There are increasingly Zelda sequels. Yeah, the Legend of Zelda games may technically be in different timelines or whatever, but each Zelda game has been able to stand on its own as a successful, unique Zelda game, ignoring Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, both of which are utter... I'm not going to carry on with that sentence. But the more Zelda games that we have that are starting to get actual direct sequels, there's an element which is feeling a little bit like a cop-out, in the sense that, again, that is very clearly just taking the original map from Twilight Princess and going, oh, look, there's some floating islands in the sky now. Ooh. I'm cautious about... I mean, don't get me wrong, that map in Breath of the Wild was beautiful. It was huge, a lot to explore, but the criticism of that map being rather empty in places is a valid criticism. There is an awful lot of nothing in that map. As beautiful as it is to explore, there's not much in it.
Well, don't get me wrong. If you guys
moving things into the sky, yeah, all right, that just means that we've got extra height to it with potentially even less to find other than floating rocks. And I agree with Dante on the side. It was good to see some of the older creatures like the Talos with the Bokoblin fortress on its back is absolutely hilarious. I loved that. But yeah, if it is if they literally just lift and shift the same map from the first game and chuck some floating islands in the sky and that is it, that for the amount of time it's taking them to deliver this thing is going to be very disappointing.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. If you guys enjoyed the trailer and thought, "Oh yeah, it's great," more power. Like I thought,
it's
if you enjoyed it,
it's
brilliant.
I'm just
well,
I'm curious about it. That's the main thing. I get what you're saying. I'd want to see more. Like I'd want to know more and I'd want to see more. You can't really infer how big the game is or how it's going to work. And I totally get what you're saying, Fish. I think as well, if they're going to be charging full price for it, is it going to feel like its own self-contained game or is it going to feel more like DLC?
Much DLC.
Yeah. And
that's the thing I'm concerned of, that it's going to be
a valid concern.
DLC.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. There were hints at some underground areas and possible dungeons, but we still don't know the full scope of it. So a lot of it's still wait and see.
Speculation and stuff.
It at least teased, whereas the first teaser was like story heavy hints and a bit of like, ooh, what could be happening here?
Yeah.
This at least just showed some new elements compared to the first game, where it's like, oh, you've got this and that now.
I would like a return to traditional Zelda dungeons. I think we've had the shrines. It was cool. It was a nice little feature, and it made exploring Breath of the Wild, interesting and fun. I still think that each of those shrines was little more than a glorified micro shrine minigame. I'd like a return to a proper Zelda where there are multiple dungeons hidden throughout that, as Dante said.
Yeah.
Hopefully, underground areas, full dungeons to be explored with unique things littered around them, abilities that require that. I also suspect, given a criticism from the previous game, that Ganon was literally just this faceless thing.
Yeah.
There was no. It was all right. It was a cool monster, but there was no real personality to it as a villain. It was really bland. It looked cool at the end, but it was a bland villain. There was no real threat from it, and you weren't emotionally invested when you took it out. I suspect, given the fact that we are seeing a human corpse for Ganon, that we are going to go down the route story that someone is going to attempt to resurrect him in his human form.
Properly, yeah. It looked like
give us a face to that villain again.
I've got whole concepts and ideas about what's probably gone off from these trailers.
We could possibly do another video on that later.
Yeah,
I think that would be
on
that later. So yeah, I think I want to see more. I think for the 2022, I think it's fine. A lot of developers are doing it because of the year that they've had with COVID. For me, I think Zelda the Breath of the Wild 2 will be a major focal point next E3. I anticipate we're going to have a huge segment in the Direct, and I think Treehouse is going to cover a lot of it, like it did with the original Breath of the Wild, where they actually get hands-on and play it. So yeah, we'll obviously learn more next year. I'm fine. I don't need a definite date because, all that's going to happen is it's going to get pushed back. That is what's going to happen. It's like, yes, we're coming out in March 2021. No, you're not, though, are you? You're not. Don't bother giving us a date until you're definitely sure that you can deliver on it. And that is how I feel with a lot of developers at the moment. So
that being said, I think that's where Nintendo are doing really well by not giving dates. Because, case in point, if you'd have told me that there'd be a brand new 2D side-scrolling Metroid by August, I would have been like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'd rather them confirm it when they definitely know when it's going to come out. The only other thing I obviously want to talk about, because we're like about 30 minutes into the video so far, the last game I really do want to talk about is Mario Golf Rush. Surprisingly, I hate golf. Like I literally despise golf. I think this
Not
is
even a game.
no. I
You
think
can make
this
it
is
a mini golf, right?
yeah. I'm okay with mini golf, but I'm not like
No, I'm with you.
you know what I mean. I'm not like oh yeah, I have to play it. But I will say
golf doesn't do it for me.
yeah, it's boring. But I will say Mario Rush makes golf look fun. Like the ability to I like the ability to. I'm not going to play the normal mode. Forget that.
Golf.
No.
Capture the flag.
But
Capture the flag golf. Yeah.
yeah,
Dash pads
and
all
the
sorts.
yeah, and I love the rushing between to get your ball and get it obviously in. So that could be really fun. I am kind of looking forward to it just to check it out and see. So that probably was the other one. You haven't mentioned Shin Megami Tensei 5, Edge. Are you looking forward to that? What are your thoughts on that? Is that coming out on the other platforms as well?
No, I believe it's only Switch only at the moment.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a coup.
Well, they were making it for Switch, I think, at the time. So I've been keeping an eye on it for a while. It was announced a couple of years back as like a teaser trailer. And then as time has gone on, they've revealed more and more about the game series. So for those who've played Persona, Persona was a spin-off of this series of games.
I recognise all of those Persona. Like, having played Persona 5, I'm like, I have that one.
Like an alternate reality kind of side thing.
Okay.
Persona.
Interesting.
So with Shin Megami Tensei, it's the 5th one in the series, I believe, at the moment. And yeah, no, in terms of the graphics, in terms of gameplay, looks fine. Probably fun to play. I have played a few of them before. Played Lucifer's Calling, which was on the PS2, which was hard but good fun, and it got me a little bit into playing Persona when it came out for number 5 anyway. Not much thought to do about at the moment because I would need to get some more hands-on gameplay. If there's like a demo for it, I might play that and then see if I buy it. I did really enjoy Persona, so this maybe get me to come back and play this. But a lot of these games were on the PS2, so I don't think there was a Shin Megami Tensei on the PS3. So I think it skipped over to this current gen at the moment, / PS5 and Switch. So it's like I'm intrigued of what the difference of time has been, because I think the last one was on 3DS or DS. I'm going to be wrong on that one. People will probably correct me on that in the comments, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. But again, it's like the Nintendo's like Direct, like a lot of my expectations was kind of like level. So I mean, looking at what I saw, I'm up there with Fish and Dante when it came to Advance Wars. If I had to go on Fish's copy for the GBA, thought that was good fun, and I probably will now play this because I've never really played them or owned them properly. So for me, that's kind of exciting. Shin Megami Tensei, Monster Hunter Stories 2. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm a massive. I only recently got into Monster Hunter, but I am in. I am so in. I am committed and embracing my love of Monster Hunter. So I am really looking forward to Stories 2, like having an actual RPG story like set in that kind of.
Well.
Is it co-op?
Yeah.
I'm even more excited then.
You missed the whole part in the
I
trailer.
missed that. I was too excited, freaking out how cute the Breath of Us was, and keeping an eye on the chat to focus. Oh yes, I'm even more excited now. Then that's awesome. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
It's basically Pokemon meets Monster Hunter.
Pretty much, yeah. It looks great. I'm really looking forward to it. Overall, I enjoyed Nintendo Direct. I thought it was really good for me because I mean I get what you're saying about the whole remasters, but unlike like a lot of you I feel I didn't grow up on Nintendo as much. I kind of missed that. I got a GameCube very, very late on. So I had a Game Boy. I had like the original Game Boy, but I don't come from a background where I've played a lot of like Nintendo games. So a lot of these remasters for me, it is legitimately my first time playing this game and this franchise. And I think maybe that's the case for many people. So I'm excited, like for a lot of them, to check them out and to see what I think of them and stuff like that.
It's the same for most like remasters. Sometimes if you have played them already and you're like, oh, I'm having that again, like us with Advance Wars sorted. But when
Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly. But then other players will be like, oh, I never got to catch that first time round. It's finally time. And then that reminds me, didn't they announce let me pronounce it. Danganronpa.
Right? Oh yeah,
was that going to be a collection? I never got to
I
play
don't
any of
know
those.
what that is, so
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically Saw meets an anime meets Phoenix Wright.
interesting.
A load of Japanese school kids put into a situation where they're basically forced to fight against each other, and only one of them can survive.
Like Battle Royale,
Should
like the
animate that as
movie
well.
Battle Royale.
Kind of, but it's
Bit with
but
tasks.
it's more tasks like puzzles and stuff.
Not so much life
Yeah.
and death.
No.
Okay.
They're
Not
not
machetes.
forced to kill each other,
Right, okay.
but they are going to get wiped out one at a time.
Yeah.
Competitive natures take over.
And
Okay.
is that the that World's End Club on the Switch at the moment, or at least the demo on? Is that like the kiddie version of the same series? I can't.
I don't
quite
know if it's done by the same people, but it's
I
the
feel like it's a crossover type thing, but
it's very similar kind of gameplay. The first one was on the Nintendo DS, I would say,
Cool.
that we got over here anyway. And if you want to know more about that, Kate, I recommend talking to Vicky because she loves them.
Yeah, she did. I remember her
Um,
mentioning that she was super looking forward to World's End. I
Mm.
remember that being the one that she was like super interested in. So I'm kind of looking forward to even just watching. I'm gonna watch Dante play a ton of things, and like I'll probably come and try out Advance Wars, and I'm probably gonna check out now after having played Persona 5. I want to check out Shin Megami Tensei 5. Like, so I've got no money. Like, I'm gonna be skint by the end of the year.
So many RPGs coming out this year.
Just have
I'm
time.
screwed.
Yeah, me too. It's just too many. So yeah,
then
I'm
you
excited.
take a break with Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, you would have mentioned that. Like, I do remember
Yeah,
playing a
we
lot
get
of
some
Super
monkey
Monkey
fisting
Ball.
on the go.
Yeah, I remember playing that a lot on GameCube, and that's such a really fun multiplayer. And WarioWare as well. That's really fun to play. It's just some random fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those again, and good old classics. And I think it's the memories and the nostalgia, of playing it for the first time.
We've
and
got
stuff.
Fatal Frame coming, which is basically riding high on the Pokemon Snap thing, except it's Pokemon Snap meets Silent Hill.
I will watch you play that. I won't be playing that myself, but if you
The only-
choose to stream it, I'll be there.
You can watch that, or we can all sit in a room and Kate, you can play it, and we'll
Watch you
watch.
cry.
Oh my god, that probably would be quite entertaining. I'm sure a lot of people would tune in just to see me freaking out. But yeah,
Be for me, in fairness.
yeah. That's what you've been doing literally for the last 12 months, Edge. People just tuning in to see you freaking out with horror. We'll see. Maybe you might be able to convince me, but you'll have to work on it. That's all I'm going to say, which is fine. So I think if we finish the conversation there, so obviously we've obviously talked about our general thoughts on Nintendo. Really enjoyed it. We all seem to agree it was good. Edge raised some good points though. There were things that weren't there that could have been improved. No Bayonetta 3 still. That disappoints me. Especially
Splatoon 3.
No Splatoon 3, but I still think that game is in pre-production. That game is in
Yeah.
pre-production. It's years away, and I've got no problem with that. And Splatoon 2 is still being heavily supported. It's people are still playing it and stuff. Yeah, there aren't as many
Oh,
Splatfests,
definitely,
but
yeah.
people are still playing it, and it's still fun.
Splatfests.
I know, I want Splatfest back. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was good. So
I just still loved how it's like, oh, we have no news on Metroid Prime 4. Here, have a new game instead. Like, oh, go on then.
yeah, I
They
know.
really do know how to let you down
I know.
gently,
Oh,
don't they?
I know.
They're trolling.
They do it very well. But yeah, I think Metroid Prime 4, because it had a bit of development held into it.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then restarted
gone
entirely.
back to restarting it, so it may still be a
So
good
it's
few
fine.
years away, which is fine.
We'll give you a small education on the Prime series and where it sits in the
Yeah,
Metroid
I
timeline.
haven't
So-
played Prime, so that is definitely a franchise I'm wanting to pick up and play, especially because they follow on, right? So I do need to play it, but I also want to play Samus Returns, which Dante, I think you've got, right?
3DS.
Yeah,
believe
but I haven't played that.
Prime sits after Samus Returns, but before Super Metroid,
Okay.
which
yeah.
is Metroid 3. It's either after Metroid 2 or Metroid 3, but I think Prime sits between Metroid 2 and Metroid 3.
Okay. All right then. Or I could just watch a YouTube video and get caught up on it and do it that way.
Yeah.
Make one myself, maybe for the
Maybe.
community.
Maybe you could teach me how to do one of your amazing lore videos. And
I totally could do that.
Combine the lore on the Metroid timeline.
I think that sounds perfect because you do need to have like good knowledge on it, and I don't have that. So I think you would be the perfect person to do that, Fish. So yeah, I'm sure I can do that. That would be fine. So obviously that's the end of our review on Nintendo Direct at E3 2021. I'm totally going to be watching the Treehouse at some point, probably tomorrow. It's like 3 hours just to see what gameplay they're showcasing, because I always really enjoy that, and that's one of the things that Nintendo get right every E3. The other developers and publishers should be doing the same thing. I love being able to see them get hands-on with games and show legitimate gameplay, which is great. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you guys for joining me for this podcast. This is new, so thank you so much. I'm hoping we can do this more regularly, and hopefully let us know, guys, what you thought of the podcast, what you think of this style. Please send us some feedback in the comment section below, and obviously let us know what you thought of Nintendo Direct and what games you are hyped for. Please make sure you share that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Just to finish off, guys, can you tell them where they can find you on the interwebs, and where to find you? So we'll start off with you, Fish, then move to Dante, and then Edge, like we did last time.
So I have a YouTube channel, Crack On Gaming. There is not much on there, a couple of reviews, but it's still finding its feet on what I'm going to do with it. I think it's going to basically just become Let's Plays with Dante. We'll drag people along for the ride on those. The Twitch I am also on, which is Crack On Gaming. I'll give links to Kate so she can put them in the video.
Description. Yeah, that's fine. I'll put links to all these in the description.
Due to name factors, there's always various hyphens and underscores, and I can never remember which is which. And I'm also on Twitter. So feel free, if anyone has anything, to reach out and ask questions. I said that I'm primarily Nintendo facing, though I'll catch anything that basically catches my eye. And if you like turn-based games, RPGs, and platformers, that's where I stand.
Awesome stuff. Dante?
I am the ultimate support character. I will be on everyone else's videos.
Yes.
If I create any content, it will be on Kate's channel. If I
The tails to my Sonic.
Yeah.
That's cooler because Sonic's a bit of a dick.
Truth. So yeah, I'll probably be co-oping with Fish and Edge and Kate, and yeah, you'll just find me there.
Awesome stuff. Fantastic. And your Twitter is what?
Oh, it's now tweaked slightly. N7 Dante GG.
GG. Okay, coolies. And Edge?
You can find me on YouTube. Apparently, you can find me as a user Edge Grey, or if you type in Edge Plays, hopefully find my channel on there. Mostly at the moment, there's a lot of Let's Plays on there and some video content highlights from things like Monster Hunter, some horror games. I do play RPGs, so there should be a bit more of that coming through soon. And again, the channel is trying to find its own feet as well. It's only been out now for just under a year. So please, if you have any comments or you want to help support the channel, please let us know what you want to see next, and we'll go from there, really.
Yeah, Edge is a big JRPGer as well. So if you guys are interested in your JRPGs, he's your man, basically. If you're interested in Nintendo or anything like that, Fish is your dude.
we do the old school stuff, and I can't believe I'm
retro.
now referring to GameCube as old school.
Old school retro, and then I, as you guys know, cover pretty much most things on the channel. But thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, take care, everybody. Have a lovely day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.
Johnny.
Bye.
Bye.